The second half of a Google Forms is how you can use Google Forms to make a quiz. This is probably the more likely option that you would choose if you're using Google Forms because it's an easy way to do a quick quiz and it automatically grades it for you. So if you're in the class, they're actually going to jump in here and take this quiz that makes no sense because I just put numbers. So we can kind of get some data so they can come back and look at it. So if you are watching this online, you're welcome to take this quiz and I will email you the results so you can kind of see what it looks like once kids have answered it and you're going back to look at your results. So right now, if you will just navigate to Google Forms, we'll go over the steps on how to create your own quiz. Okay, just like I showed you before when we were doing the little mock survey, you're going to click a blank document. I'm not going to go over all the details like I did from the last one because you know all the options that you have here. I'm going to go ahead and take some time to fill in some information so we can look at it on the response side. I'm going to add a couple of questions. If you'll notice when you're typing, it tries to guess what type of answers you want. I noticed in the first one it didn't, but look, it's kind of popping up some options that it thinks I want, but I don't want their options. I'd like to do multiple choice. Okay, so now that we have a couple of questions in here, and I'm going to go ahead and make them required. Now on the response side, it's going to look a little bit different because this is a quiz that you want automatically graded. So you don't want to have to go back and look at all their responses and see what score they made. So this is when I told you that settings tab is super important. We're going to go to our settings tab. You'll notice it said general. We had presentations and we hadn't gone over the quizzes. So I want you to jump into quizzes. It's all going to be grayed out until you decide I want to make this a quiz. Now you have options. You can release their grade to the students immediately after they submit it. If it was something I wanted them to have immediate feedback on, this is a great option. If it's something that I think I could give them points for, even if they get it wrong, if it's kind of subjective, then I'm going to select, later after I review it. For the most part, I select that. I taught little kids, 4th grade, but still I didn't want them panicking immediately after their quiz. If it's something they were going to have to go back and correct pretty quick, I might let them see their grade, but it just depended on the material. Now, you also have another option. What the respondents can see. If you want them to see the questions they missed, if you want them to see the correct answers, and if you want them to see the point values. For the most part, all of my point values stayed the same with all of the questions. Every once in a while, I might have questions at the bottom where they had to type in their answer and I'd give them more value. But I never thought that it hurt if they saw the point values. I never let them see the correct answers because I was a math teacher and I wanted them to go back and have to rework it if they got it wrong. So these are all your options that it's going to automatically turn it into a quiz. So you're going to click save. Now it gets a little bit different. Ooh, not quizzes. Now you're going to have to go in there and make an answer key. So if you'll look down below, we're going to click on answer key. And it's going to ask you to choose the correct answer. Well, I know the correct answer is 16. And I'm going to let this be worth 50 points. If you needed to add answer feedback, so if they get it right, you can tell them good job, or at the end, if they get something wrong, you can give them feedback as well. So now when I'm clicked up in this top question, I'm going to click on answer key for it too. And I'm going to select the right answer. And I'm going to give it points. You'll notice that it's automatically going to say 0 points. So if you don't add the points, they're not going to get any credit for it. If you always watch right up here, this total points, to make sure you are hitting your 100 if you want 100, or if you need more points than that or less points than that, make sure that's totaling to what you want it to be. Once you've selected the right answer on both of them, remember it's automatically getting saved. You are going to share it just like you would anything in the Google Suite. You can send it. You can type their emails in. You can get the link to where you're just copying it to an email or send it out. Or if you wanted to embed it in an email, and what that means is instead of them clicking on the link to get to it, let me close out of this. When they go to their email, they will actually see this Google form like on the email page. They don't have to follow a link. They actually see the form that they've created right there for them. Another option is, now that this is saved, if you want to add it to your Google Classroom, just like we're going to go over here in a minute, you can grab anything from your Google Drive to add to your classroom super easy. I think I have covered everything on how to make it a quiz. I didn't want to repeat a lot of the settings that we did in the first Google Forms, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.